Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Mount & Blade Bannerlord. The wait is finally over, and today, guys, it is indeed harvesting season. We're going to be jumping right in and giving you a quick tutorial on battles. So, of course, we will do separate videos for campaigns and some of the tech trees and how to develop your characters. Once we get a little bit familiar with all that stuff, of course, it may take some time because I want to make sure the information I'm giving you is accurate. In this case, though, this video is going to be focused on battles, how to control your units, how the groups function, how the different orders function, and I'll just give you guys a quick kind of overview by showing you here in a custom battle. So as far as this battle goes, we do indeed have a mixed forces army. So we have archers, we have cav, we have pretty much all the goodies here. For the AI, they're just going to get one unit because this is just going to be showing you how to move your units and give them orders and things like that. So it's not going to be an actual battle. So on that note, let us load in, guys, and we'll see you in just a second. All right, my friends, here we are in the battle. Our filthy, unorganized rabble is ready to be given orders. So let's go ahead and begin this tutorial. So firstly and foremost, each troop unit by unit type is organized into a different control group. So if you look here, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 1 is your infantry, 2 is your archers, 3 is your cav, and 4 is going to be your missile cav. Now, depending on what you have or don't have, so if you only have infantry, for example, you're only going to have 3 groups. You're not always going to have 4 groups, but they are automatically categorized for you. So to switch between these 2 groups, for the sake of giving orders, you just have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that is going to give you all those juicy units. So now let's go ahead and give some orders. Currently, they're all on the standard follow me order, which I gave before the video started, but let's go ahead and begin with the infantry and give them some fancy orders. So if you look on the left side of the screen, you'll see movement, facing, formation, fire, horses, command, and transfer. So in this case, you have a couple options for what you want to do. So firstly, let's select infantry and go through the movement orders. So to do this, you hit 1, firstly to select the infantry, then you hit F1 to toggle the movement tree. And you'll also notice that there's a little bit of a banner that is your command banner. So basically, this is going to be the target destination for the orders that you give, typically speaking. So we'll hit F1 first. We have our infantry selected, so it's only going to be the 1. It's only going to be them. So here we have to the position, follow me, charge, advance, fall back, stop, retreat, or return. So in this case, we're just going to give them a very basic order. So you can see it pulls up F1 is to position. So here I have the banner where I want them to go. I'm going to hit F1, and those bad boys are going to run over there and get ready to have some fun. So I can do this anywhere by just hitting 1, which selects infantry, F1, and then F1 again, which is going to tell them to go to position. So they're just going to run around and get some exercise in this lovely desert, which I'm sure they're all enjoying to their heart's content. So that is the basic order. That's really the kind of the most simplistic one there. That's how to tell units where to go. And this can be useful, for example, if you're on a map where your opponent has a huge missile advantage and you have terrain, you have like a building or some sort of a tree line to hide behind, you can move them to different areas instead of just having them follow you to your doom, which usually happens with me. So in this case, you can tell them to follow me, which will pull them back to you. So the infantry will just follow you, and this is really useful for a cav action. You guys will see why in a little bit. So we're going to go to infantry once again, go to movement. We have charge. Charge, if I hit F3, they're just going to charge towards the nearest enemy unit. So they're just going to blitz across the map. But in this case, I don't want them to, so I'm going to hit F1, and I'm going to tell them to go to a position, which is right here. So they're just going to go back there, but yeah, you can give orders, give them the charge, give them the fallback, etc., etc. So that's like really, really basic movement stuff. So if we go here, select infantry again, F1, we have a couple different options. We could have them fall back, we could have them stop, which just stops them in place, and retreat by hitting F7 actually pulls them off the map. So the infantry will straight up just run off the map and peace out. So yeah, we're going to keep them here for now. So that is the most basic of all the movements. That's basically if you hit 1 and go to position. And again, from the top to bottom, it's F1 through F2, F3, F4 in that order. So now we have the face direction. You'll notice how they're facing me, and the enemy army is actually over there. So for example, if these guys were getting charged, they would just stare at you, get rear charged. They wouldn't use their shields in this case with this current order set. So let's go ahead and hit F2, which is the second tier, and now you can tell them to face a direction. So you'll notice right now they'll face me. If I do this, let's hit F1. They're going to face the direction that I order specifically. They're all looking at me like I owe them something. We'll hit F2 here, and now we're going to go to face a direction, and we're going to tell them to face that way. So you'll notice like I can do circles here, like little tabs to line up the units. You basically just get it like close to the arrow right there, and that's the same for moving as well. So if you want them to like go in a certain line or a certain way, that's how you do that. So hopefully it's a bit of a crash course for you guys. So right now we're going to tell them to face the other way, so they're going to turn around. I don't like the way they're looking at me all hungry like. And we're going to go back to the facing order again. You can tell them to face the enemy, which will be the one you'll be using most often. Which basically just tells them to face the enemy army or the nearest enemy units, basically. So they're going to look over towards the... there's only a single AI character right now, so their army doesn't just randomly attack me. So you can see here we got that. That is the basic for facing. You can do that for your archers, for your different units here, all that kind of good stuff. So now we're going to go on. We're going to go to the infantry, the F1. We're going to tell them to just go like hang out over here. And yeah, just go enjoy themselves, go on a little bit of a vacation. So they're going to run over there, and we're going to play around with the rest of the troops. So next, guys, if we take a look, let's go ahead and go to the formations. Actually, yeah, we got to do the formations. Come on, what are we doing? So for the infantry formation, you can see they're all kind of over there. So we're going to go to F1. We're going to move them back here.
Forward!
They're going to hustle over there. And you can also, instead of hitting F1 again, you can just click on the one that's currently selected. But usually I think just hitting F1's easier. So they're here in their formation. Now we're going to hit F3 while we have infantry selected. And you'll notice there's a bunch of formations. So currently the default formation is the line formation. And you can see that's pretty much what it is. But I can F2, and they're going to go into a shield wall. So if you're expecting a lot of archers, you want your infantry to just hold against a more aggressive force, the shield wall is a pretty good answer. So we'll go back to the infantry again, check out some other formations. You can go to the circle, which is pretty cool. So if you're like severely outnumbered, you want to make a Helm's Deep, you hit that 4. Those guys will make a circle with what they got. They can't fill the circle. They basically just make it like, you know, as big as they possibly can. So if you have a bigger army, they'll do that. Other formations, you know, have some cool ones. You have this kind of spearhead formation, which they form a bit of a I guess, yeah, like a spear tip, and you can, you know, fall in behind them. You can do cav charges, like to follow through them. There's a lot of like cool tactics you can do with the formation. So that's the formation. You can see here in F3. So let's go ahead and go here. We go to the formation, and also if you put them in a formation, they'll keep that order. So like if I go and just tell them to move around, they will stay in that formation. So let's put them in a column. A nice little marching formation. So there they go. Actually, you know what? For the sake of this, we're going to go ahead and put them in formation F3. Let's put them in a shield wall. Shield wall! Go! So there you have it. That is like the basics of like formations. They're now in their shield wall. So now we're going to go to our archers. So for archers, we have a couple other toggles. You can see the F4 is something that won't matter for infantry. But in this case, if we hit F4, they will hold fire. They're going to draw their swords and get ready to fight melee combat. Whereas if I hit archers again, which is 2, then F4, they're now going to draw their bows and fire at will. So in this case, if you wanted to have like a shield wall with archers behind it, basically you could just do something a little bit spicy like this. No, we want to back up. Can the horse trot backwards? Yes, it can. Get back, cav units. The cav units are kind of obstructing everything. So let's go ahead and grab the cav here, and we'll just tell them to go shut guys, just go on over there, could you? Get the missile cav as well. Tell them to go over there. And hit the wrong button here. It takes a little getting used to. It's very, very tricky for sure. And then we'll tell them to go to a position here. Oh, no, I hit the 1 key again. Wrong key. Got to get that muscle memory going, my friends. So let us go ahead and go to the missile cav, hit F1, and then we're going to tell them to go F1 over here. And they're just going to peace out, which will give us some room to work with. So from here, we'll go to the archers, which are always group 2. So now we're going to go ahead and set up the archers. So just like I said, you kind of move the banner right on that arrow, and you can see it's going to switch the formation toggle. So in this case, it's kind of hard to do really fast on the run, but we want to face them like right behind the shield wall. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and do that. Those guys will line up like that. They're going to be facing the enemy. You can tell them with F4 to hold fire or to fire at will. But in this case, they will form the shield wall. But obviously, we don't have that many infantry, so it's hard to make a good shield wall. Though it looks like the infantry are a little bit kind of clunky there. So we'll select them. We'll go to their movement here. And let's go ahead. Yeah, that's pretty much the maximum breadth of their formation. It looks like they should be able to scoot out a little bit more. But nonetheless, they're in the shield wall. The archers are behind. That's how you go. So in this case, if the enemy army was approaching, you could select your cav units. In this case, you could tell them to move to a position. You could tell them to just go over there, get ready for a flank. They'll ride up and around. And then when the cav is ready to charge, you select your cav, you hit F1 to pull up your movement orders, and then you can just hit F3 to tell them to charge the nearest enemy unit. So it's pretty cool. Honestly, though, what I think you'll probably end up doing for cav units is just getting... in this case, you'll get your infantry set up like this. You'll tell the cav units to follow you. So now the cav will follow you. It's much more efficient. And then you can just like flank around the opponent's army and just charge in and do it that way. So another cool tactic is, let's go ahead and get our cav units here. You can grab them and put them into the movement. Take so much to get used to. And we'll tell them to just go to a position right here. So the cav are just going to hang out right here. Now, another thing you can do with the missile cav. So 3, movement, and we'll tell them to go to a position here. Cool, so the cav are going to go there now. Now, what's really cool about like skirmish cav units, like archer cav, and why I think they'll be really strong against like abusing AI armies, is you can basically select them, go to 4, you tell them to basically follow you. Basically what's going on, my apologies. Now they're going to follow you. Now they're not going to engage. You can ride circles around your opponent's army, and as long as you have fire at will on, they will shoot, which is really, really cool. So those guys will follow you. Now there's a couple other commands to look at here as far as like movements and battles go and everything. And after this, we'll jump into a little bit of a quick battle simulation so you guys can like see it on the go. But if you do have cav units and there's a reason you want to dismount, you can. So let's go ahead and pull up our cav units over here, and we'll tell them to F5. And they're now going to get off their horses. So like there may be situations in which you like need to ford some water. You don't want your cav units to be like taken down by pikes and spears and things like that. You can tell them to get off and basically fight on foot. There's a couple other ways you can do it. A couple other commands, I should say. So if you go here, you can basically delegate the units to not be in your control. So if I hit F6, it just means the infantry are going to be under their own control, and you don't really have to control them. But if you want to get it back, you select the infantry, you just hit F6 again, and now those guys are going to come back. However, they will still have the order from before. So in this case, I'll need to hit F1 and tell them to just follow me in this case. So the infantry will come back to their master here. Now the last thing, let's go ahead and take a look here, is going to be the transfer. So you can see this. So you can basically control your groups and things like that, and yeah, so you can like transfer different characters. So let's say we can do this and just let's accept it as a showcase there. You can see the infantry units have now moved into group 2. So you can like group up your armies in a very fancy way. And now you can see group 2 has a combination of forces. So it's like a mixed forces detachment basically, which you have to account for, of course, when giving them orders and whatnot. But yeah, you can give group 2 a little bit of movement over there. So if you're going around, you can just click as well. So yeah, it's a big old rabble. You can group your units together, but I think it's going to be better to keep them in separate control groups once you get more experience. But in this case, yeah, you have some freedom there, which is cool. All right, guys, there you have it. Quick little tutorial on how the control groups work and all the different orders and things like that. You can see even myself, I just got the game today. So I'm learning, I'm practicing. It's really going to take a lot of muscle memory to memorize the hotkeys, but just like any game, once you get used to it, your orders are going to be pretty crunk for sure. So now, guys, we're going to jump into a battle. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in just a second. All right, my friends, and here we are with a sample battle. So it's going to be my cav and infantry army facing off against the opponent's archers as well as basic infantry. So it's going to show you guys a little bit of a tactic, what you can kind of do with your units, and we'll have some fun. So firstly, let us begin by selecting our infantry. We're going to select them by hitting F1 to go their movement, and we're going to tell them to run up to this position. On top of that, we're going to hit 1 again, which we already have. They're selected. We hit F3, and we're going to tell them to go into a shield wall formation. So shield wall, of course, pretty good against heavy charges from my experience, and also will help them against missile attacks, which my opponent does have. Now for the cav units, we're going to hit 3 to select them. We'll hit F1 to go to movement, and we're going to hit F2 to have them follow me. So the cav are going to follow me. I'm in a little bit of a trot here, getting ready to party. The AI, of course, has taken up refuge here. So knowing that they're a little bit of a ways away, we'll select our infantry, hit F1, and then for the basic movement, we just hit F1 again. And then we're going to fly over there and just get ready to fight. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our cav up and around the back, show you guys some like flanking tactics and different things you can do. Obviously with archers and shield walls, if I had a missile cav advantage and I was playing an AI army that had nothing, you could tell your missile cav to just follow you basically and avoid a lot of the pressure. So yeah, there's their formation right there. Obviously very, very defensive. So our cav are going to pull back. We want to wait till our infantry get in position. So let's go ahead and hit 1, select our infantry, hit F1, and now we're going to get those guys just moving on up here. Boom, like that. Giving them orders on the run. We obviously have less infantry, so we really need to make sure that our shock damage from our cav comes into play here. Otherwise, we're going to be in big old trouble. And to declick your groups, you just right-click on your mouse, basically. It's pretty straightforward there. So our infantry are in position, so we're going to go ahead and select the infantry by hitting 1, and now we're going to go ahead and movement and tell those bad boys to charge. They will maintain their current position. So the cav are going to be a bit of a distraction, Carnifex. We're going to run behind this hill here. Obviously, using terrain is going to be very, very important in these higher level battles and the harder difficulties. And now the archers are a little bit exposed. So the AI is going to get in position, and we're going to get ready to party. We want the spears to go in the front. And then from here, we select our cav, we hit F1, and we're going to tell them to charge right now. So we time a big old charge. So the cav are going to go in for a thunderous charge into the exposed archers here, and you can see the impact coming in is quite substantial. So we're just getting some damage, doing a little bit of a drive-by there. And in the back here, we want to go after the archers. So like what I could do right now is I could hit 3, I could tell the cav to F1 and to follow me. Now all the cav will pull away, and they're going to like come back into the archer lines here, which is nice. You can see a couple attacks coming here, a couple attacks. Boom, take these guys out. And the cav are going to be attacking these isolated archers, which is definitely useful. So they can just follow you while the infantry do their thing. So you want to maneuver, right? Like if the archers are able to break away from the formation, and obviously I'm not doing the best job of hitting things right now, but we'll hit the cav again, we'll tell them F2, and excuse me, buttons there, so we'll hit 3, to select the cav, F1 for movement, F3 to charge. So they're just going to do basic charges now. So that's kind of like a cleanup function, but basically, if you notice a pocket of strength from your opponent's army getting away from the fight, some archers, if you don't give your cav the orders, they will stay in the main fight, and they're going to stay and just keep attacking basically whatever they can hit, right? So we're really giving a lot of these guys like blows right to the dome, and it seems like they don't want to go there. Looks like my horse is a little bit beat up, but basically the cav at this point are just going to ride down most of the archers. So you saw we were able to do a flanking attack, all that kind of good stuff, and from here I could hit 3, I could hit F1, and I could just have the cav follow me at this point. So if there's like something I want to chase down, like their lord or their noble or whatever, you can get the guys to follow you and you're going to be good. So there you go. Give them a little bit of a blow here. And now, let's reform ranks a little bit, although I think everybody's a little bit busy cheering, so they're not going to do their thing. They can ride down this last guy. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that battle tutorial. You got to see the basics of maneuvering. I'm not super quick at it yet, but I will get there eventually once I memorize all the hotkeys and everything. But yeah, it's a little bit of a tutorial. Pretty fun. And just to kind of close things out, of course, if you wanted to retreat some units, I could hit F7. and those units will retreat off the battlefield. So they're going to be like, all right, we're good here. They're going to go retreat. They're going to go enjoy their spoils of war, and I'm just going to sit here in the desert and look nice. So guys, thanks for joining. Hopefully that little tutorial helped you a little bit, and it certainly was a little bit overwhelming for me when I first started, so hopefully it's helpful. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in Mount & Blade with our campaigns coming up soon, and that's it. Cheers, guys.